Today I'm going to show you how to advertise a local business with YouTube ads. If you own a local business or if you work with clients that own a local business, you got to watch today's video. All right, so let's talk about local ads and why they have huge potential for YouTube advertising. So I don't work with any local clients right now, no brick and mortar businesses, but I do have some friends that do, and it is something that I'm looking to get more into in the future. I have worked with local clients in the past, and in my experience, it's much easier to make a local client's campaign profitable than it is for somebody running global ad campaigns. And the reason for that is pretty simple. When you're running a local campaign, the competition is just the little local yokels in your city. There's just not too many sophisticated people competing against you. But when you run an international global ad campaign, you got to compete against me. So it's a little tougher, and you got to compete against a lot of people at the expert level that are very advanced. So this can be a great opportunity for beginners to start making money with YouTube advertising and to make it much easier. And if you already have a business like this, you're in luck, because I'm going to show you an easy way to profitably advertise it on YouTube. All right, so for my example, I'm going to use my favorite local business, Ace's Jiu-Jitsu Club. This is the jiu-jitsu training gym that I personally train at. It's a really awesome school to train at if you're ever down in Austin, Texas. They got a whole bunch of different locations. And I know McCall and the other guys there are doing increasingly sophisticated things with their online advertising. So I'm hoping to see their YouTube ads a lot more often soon. So let's say if you were the owner of this business, how would you target your ads in the best possible way to make a profit from them? Let's talk about it. All right, so I'm in my Google Ads account. What I'm going to do is click on this plus button here and make a new campaign. What I'll do is create a campaign without a goals guidance, choose a video campaign, and then I'll make a custom video campaign. Usually I would use Drive Conversions, but I don't have conversion tracking set up in this teaching account because it doesn't actually run. But usually you want to choose this option, Drive Conversions. You can see I need to set up conversion tracking in this account to do it, but this is normally the option I always use and which you should use. Just so I can show you how to do this though, I'll click Custom Video Campaign. Give my campaign a name. I'm going to set my campaign budget. You always want to use a daily budget and not a total budget. Let's say I want to spend $50 a day. $50. No end date. You never want your campaign to end unless it's not making money, in which case you just turn it off. For the networks, I'm going to keep all of these networks enabled. Usually I would not recommend this, but the reason why I'm going broader in this case is that because you're significantly restricting your geographic targeting, you need broader targeting to get any traffic at all. So I'll leave on video partners on the display network. Now, here comes the fun part, locations. So you see I have a few different options, and what I'm going to do is enter another location and then do the advanced search. Now, there's a few different ways that you can target ads for a local business. Most people target ads to say their city or say their zip code and the surrounding zip codes. Some people do their county, but none of these are really the best way to do it. And if you think about it, it's kind of obvious why. Let's say that your business is at the border of a city. If you just advertise to the city that your business is in, you're missing all the people in the adjacent city, and some people at the other end of the city may be too far to actually patronize your business. Fortunately though, technology has come to our rescue and there's a better way to do it. Radius targeting. That means rather than targeting a city or some arbitrary political or geographic border, you're targeting a radius around your business. Say a 5-mile radius, a 10-mile radius, or a 20-mile radius. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to select radius target. Okay, so what I would do is I would go to the website, copy the address, and then I would paste it in right there. Usually, if your business is on Google Maps, this should be showing up here. Somehow, Pflugerville Donuts, the next door donut shop, took over this address. It's in the same shopping plaza. I'm just going to use that for the sake of the example. They're at the same location. So I will do that. And what I'm going to start with is a 20-mile radius. That's usually for most local businesses the radius that I'd recommend starting off with. So what you want to use for your starting radius is the distance that people could reasonably travel to patronize your business. Now, this is a good starting radius for most local businesses. Let's say if you're the type of business like a Walgreens, which relies more on convenience, maybe you only want to do 5 miles. Let's say some type of niche specialty shop that people will drive an hour to, you might want to go a little bit broader. If you don't know, use 20 miles. That's a good rule of thumb. Now, in this situation, it's a little bit of a special situation. I probably would not do 20 miles in this situation because there are multiple locations. You can see Mikhail has done really well. 4 locations here, 3 in Austin and 1 in Houston. So what I would probably do is use multiple smaller radii to target each of these locations. Maybe 10 miles around Pflugerville, 10 miles around downtown Austin, 10 miles around South Austin, and then 10 miles around this North Houston here. Or maybe in Houston I would go 20 miles just because I'm not overlapping with anything else. But basically with these 3 in Austin, I would try to avoid too much overlap, and I would try to have each of the radiuses be as independent of each other as possible. Just to keep things simple though, for the sake of this example, I'm going to save this with a 20-mile default radius. Now I got to fill out the rest of my campaign settings. Languages, English or the language that your ads are in. Inventory type is expanded inventory. Again, this is local. You got to go as broad as possible in order to get any traffic at all. Excluded types and labels, I uncheck content not yet labeled, go as broad as possible. I go into these hidden additional settings, and then I look at these additional settings here. For conversions, this is where I would set the conversion that I was optimizing for if this was a CPA campaign. Can't do this in the example account, but that's what you would do in the real account. Devices, I recommend running your ads on all devices. And for a frequency capping, what I would recommend is an impression cap of 2 impressions per user per day. Now, this is important for local campaigns because you're targeting a very restricted geographic area. People will see your ads more often. Too often can get to be annoying. So 2 impressions per day, I think, is enough. I've experimented with lots of different ones, and usually that's the best frequency cap for me. Ad schedule, I'm going to run the ads all day. I'm going to skip the ad group and ad creation because we're advanced, and I create my campaign. So that is how you create a locally targeted advertising campaign. Now, once you create your campaign, you're still going to have to choose the targeting to run the ads against. And I'll show you how to do that now. Now, to choose the targeting, we got to go back to our targeting strategy, the targeting ladder. And you can see that behind me on the screen right now. The targeting ladder is the targeting strategy I personally use, and it's based on the principle that you should be using the most specific, most granular targeting that you possibly can, given the size of your budget and the size of your business. If you have small budget, use real specific, high ROI, granular targeting. If you're a big baller, you got a big budget, you got to use broad targeting like demographics or life events. It'll be a little more challenging to make profitable, but if you do, you can make far more money. Let's talk about where you want to fall on this ladder for a local campaign. Now, for a local campaign, sometimes if you're targeting a big enough radius or a big enough city, you can use the very bottom options on the ladder: remarketing audiences and placement targeting. Remarketing audiences, I recommend you always use even if the traffic is very small, just because the profit will be very high. Most local businesses, though, will not be able to use placement targeting. What I mean by placement targeting is targeting your ads to individual YouTube videos, websites, individual YouTube channels, or apps. Placement targeting is great to start off with if you're a beginner running global campaigns. But if you're a beginner running a local campaign, it's not the best option. The reason for that is you're going to struggle to get significant traffic if you're using 2 extremely specific targeting factors: very tiny geographic radius and a very tiny audience of people, even globally. It's going to combine to be not that many people. So if you're running a local campaign, I recommend you skip up to the next rung of the targeting ladder: tight keyword targeting. What I mean by tight keyword targeting is keywords that are extremely specific and related to your product or service. And let's talk about how to find those keywords. So, I go to youtube.com. Let's think about what we're selling. We are selling essentially jiu-jitsu lessons. There's also Muay Thai lessons and other things, but let's say for now we're selling the jiu-jitsu. I type in jiu-jitsu. Now I see there's a whole bunch of jiu-jitsu related terms that I could target. Unfortunately, if I navigate away from this screen, these autocomplete results go away. So I press Command-Shift-4. I'm on a Mac. You can do a similar thing if you're on a PC. And I take a little screenshot. Open that up in preview right here. And now I have a whole list of jiu-jitsu related terms. Now, what I want to do is I want to put these terms into my ad group to use for targeting. I just want to scan through them first, though, and just make sure it's the type of thing that I want to target. Now, just scanning through all of these seem like pretty good terms, pretty qualified for local traffic to get people into my jiu-jitsu school. Let's say, though, if I didn't offer any jiu-jitsu lessons for kids, jiu-jitsu kids, I probably would not want to type in. So I would just go through, type in everything besides Jiu-Jitsu Kids. Aces does offer kids lessons, so I would type in that too. So here's all I'm going to do. We'll speed this part of the video up, but I type in Jiu-Jitsu. Some people get their keywords from Google Ads keyword tool. In my opinion, YouTube is a simpler and the better way to do it. The Google Ads keyword research tool goes off of Google search data. The YouTube autocomplete results go off of YouTube data. So in my opinion, it produces better results. So that's how you get your keywords from YouTube itself. So now you got your list of keywords. What you want to aim for is to have around 10 keywords. Sometimes you can have a little bit less, sometimes a little bit more, but rule of thumb that the Google Ads reps have given me and which works best in my experience is 10. So aim to have around 10 keywords in there. So I'll set my bid. Again, you would want to use CPA campaigns, not CPV campaigns. I'll skip the ad creation because I'm advanced. Save my ad group, choose my format. And that is it. That is how you make your local advertising campaign. So what I would do if this works well for you, let's say if you only have one location, you could start with that 20-mile radius. And let's say if that works really well and you want to scale up. Okay, so let's say I started this campaign is doing really well. What's the next step? The next step is I would copy and paste this campaign, duplicate it, and target a 30-mile radius. I would set a lower bid in that campaign because those people are a little bit farther away. And so that way the people in my inner circle can be targeted by my 20-mile radius campaign. So the people in that kind of outer donut will get a lower bid. I'll spend less to advertise to them, but I'll still spend something because they still might go to my location. If that works, try a 40-mile radius and basically keep expanding this as much as you can until the ads aren't profitable anymore. So that is your guide to advertising a local business. If you have a local business or if you work with clients with a local business, try this out and use it to make some money. So if you enjoyed this video, then I want you to check out the next video in this series, which you can get by clicking the link below. In the next video, I'm going to go deeper and give you my full YouTube advertising method. In these videos, I try to keep it short and sweet, keep it simple for the people on YouTube, but in the next video, I really dive deep and give away the store. In the next video, I'm going to show you the 3 biggest mistakes people make with YouTube advertising. Chances are you're making one of these mistakes right now, and it's costing you a ton of money. I'm also going to give away my 3 best YouTube ad strategies. You can learn these strategies in minutes and use them today to start making more money. And I'm going to show you my best ninja ad trick, and I know you're going to love this one. So if you want to make more money with YouTube ads, click the link below to watch the next video. It's completely free and shows you my full YouTube advertising method. So thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.